So here is the state of our weather today, which is Thursday. I'm going to be staying in, thankfully, so I have plenty of time to look at all the birds flying. We've been feeding the birds. They're everywhere, and there's icicles on the house. Yeah, so since we're going to be inside for the next couple of days, because all this ice we're supposed to be getting over the next couple of days, I'm going to be canning chicken. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you this really quick. Let's go in and I'll show you how I raw pack my chicken breast. Alright, I'll be back in just a second in the kitchen, ready to can chicken. Okay, so the first thing I did, you've seen I had cubed up this chicken. It's about 4.5 pounds of chicken breast, boneless, skinless. I trimmed some of the fat off, but left some of the fat in because I like that for flavor. And now I'm just going to sear it, or cook it about 2/3 of the way here. Not all the way done, but just to cook it partially before I add it to my jar. So I'll do that and come back after I get my jars hot and this chicken cooked and show you what I do. I also am going to put some chicken broth that I've canned over in my Instant Pot and get that hot, so I'll be able to pour it over the jars when we're ready. So be back in a little bit. Alright guys, so we have our chicken cooked, as you can see here. Now remember, this is not fully cooked. It's only 2/3 of the way cooked, so this is not safe to eat right now. It will finish cooking in the jars under pressure. Now, I'm hot packing today, so I've added some chicken broth to this, and I've got it really hot. My jars just come out of really hot soapy water. I have these in hot water, my lids, and my chicken's hot. Excuse me. A couple of things that I'll show you real quick that you need. You'll need your jar lifter to put them in and out of your canner. You'll need a funnel to put them in your jars, a debubbler, which I'll show you how to use, and it'll also help you measure your headspace. On the chicken, you leave about 1¼ to 1½ inches for safety. That way it makes it, not come up over, make your lids bubble. And you'll need, just if you have them in hot water, a lid lifter. A little bit of white vinegar to clean our tops off, and a paper towel to do that. Now, I would love to do these with wide mouth jars, but I don't have any wide mouth pint jars. And I like to can my chicken in pints because if we need a bunch, like to feed all 3 of us, we can get 2. But like I'm making barbecue pizza, which I'll show you later, I just need 1 jar because I'm doing a barbecue pizza, a barbecue chicken pizza, and a little bit hot, but and a chicken Alfredo pizza. So just 1 can was good because Nathan wanted pepperoni. So we're just gonna start filling these jars with this pre-cooked chicken. Now, like I said, I also raw pack chicken. So we're gonna push this down in a minute. I'm gonna go debubble a little bit and we'll get some more in each jar. I normally raw pack, and I was going to show you that, like I mentioned. I'll probably show you that in a later video. But when I was looking at my pantry, I think right now I have plenty of that. And I'll go back in a minute, guys, and make sure my headspace is correct and debubble. Right now I'm just getting the chicken in the jars. The raw pack. I was talking about raw pack. I don't mind it. Most people call it ugly chicken because the natural juices and stuff from the chicken actually cook out in the jar instead of it cooking out in the pan like we just did, and so it sticks to the jar. It does make your jars a little bit more difficult to clean, I guess, at the end, but overall I don't mind it, and I do that a majority of the time. Alright, I may need another one of my pints, but we'll see. I won't worry about that. I'm just going to show you guys how I do these 4. Okay, so I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to use this debubbler, and I'm going to go around. I go around every side, and this is very important because it's going to keep the air pockets from causing you your lids to buckle, your jars to siphon, just a lot. Your lids not to seal, so it's really important. It also packs your chicken down a little bit more, and you can get, a good amount of chicken in there. Okay. And This is also the tool you'll use to measure, and we're going to use the 1.5. Yeah, we got plenty of, we'll add some more in there. And hot pack, everything's hot. Like I got my canner on the stove, watering in it, which my canner calls for 3-quart jars. So check your canning instructions in your manual to know how much to put in there. Okay, so you can obviously see there's more than 1.5 inches. So I'm going to put a couple more pieces in each jar. Okay, and then I'm going to do it a little bit. And don't worry about if it gets on the tops of your jars, because that's what the vinegar and your paper towel is for in just a moment. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because that's going to give me plenty of headspace. A couple more over here, I think. And I don't have enough for another quart jar, so I'm not going to do another quart. I'll probably cook this up one day this week to go with our dinner or something. Alright, okay. And it just takes a little bit. Sometimes you'll go back and forth like this each time to make sure. So this was about 4.5 pounds of chicken. I don't know if I've mentioned that. So I knew I'd get right out about 4 pints, which is good. Okay, I'm going to stop there. And stop there because you can see I got headspace. Actually going to take this one out. And this one. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, since we are hot packing, we are going to add some chicken broth. And here it is hot over here. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way and show you. And I'm probably just going to show you how to do a couple of these guys so I don't keep you long here. But we're going to get some of this hot broth. This is where you need to be careful not burn yourself. And I'll probably debubble again once I get the broth in, just because I want to be sure I got everything out. I guess you could use water too if you wanted to hot pack with water or any vegetable broth or any of that. Okay, so I'm going to debubble one more time. Never too safe. Okay. And in raw pack, you don't, and I'll talk more about that when I do my raw pack, but you don't necessarily have to add liquid. You can check the Center for Home Food Preservation, and it tells you how to raw pack with liquid and without. Okay. One more. Okay. All right. So there's that. Next thing we're going to do, I'm going to do these at a later time. Let's just focus on these. Now, you can imagine there is chicken juice and fat on these jars, so you're going to go around the rings, or rim of the jar to get all the chicken juice off so your lids will seal. You can also use this time again for, excuse me, checking for cracks or nicks. These are brand new jars, but still need to check. Okay, so we're going to put this on. Remember, these are kind of hot. Just finger tight, not too tight. You don't want your lids to buckle. Okay. And there are what it looks like so far. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go ahead and finish these other 2 jars. And I'm actually hot packing some pork loin roast as well. But that's going to be another video. But since there's only 4 pints here, I do want to can just 4 pints in my canner, because I'm going to get all 8 in there. So I'm going to finish these 2 and then can my, get my pork in with some pork broth. I got to heat this up because this is my own home canned pork broth that I'm going to use on that. But that's a different video, but I'm going to do it all today. So let me get this other done. I'm going to get in my pressure canner, which is on the stove back there. It's coming to temperature. The water is going to be hot. I'm going to put these jars in there. And then once I get all the jars in, I'm going to put the lid on and turn it up. Let it get hot, and then let the steam come out of the top, and I'll show you when we get back to that point. Okay, so the jars, you know, I put the jars in there after we put the broth over them, and I don't know, hopefully you can see it, maybe you can't, but there is a hefty amount of hot steam coming out there. Let's see if I can catch it for you guys. Yeah, you can see it and hear it. So I'm going to let this do it now for 10 minutes. I'm going to hit my timer so you guys see that. I'm going to hit it on 10 minutes because you want it to do this for at least 10 minutes. And basically what I've read it's doing is just pushing all the air out of the canner and going to let it be easier to build pressure once we put our the weight on it, which you will do after this. Now this is not when you start your timer. You'll start your timer after we get the 10 minutes down and put the weight on. Okay guys, so we are getting close to the 10-minute mark. You can hear the steam still going in my canner. A couple of things I wanted to talk to you about before because I don't think I mentioned it yet. I haven't watched the past clip, so if I'm repeating myself, forgive me. And besides, it's important information, so it's worth repeating. When it comes to pressure canning meat, remember it has to be pressure canned, no water bath. So it's important to know the pressure that you need to cook your meat at. So that will depend on the elevation of the city that you are in. So find out what you're at elevation, like above sea level is what I talk about. Here in my city in Arkansas, we're at about 800, a little bit over 800, like 850, 860. So I have to pressure can my meat at 11 pounds and hold it steady at 11 pounds for 75 minutes for pints. If you're doing quarts, you're going to do 90 minutes. Bigger time, right? So I'll tell you a little bit of what I did with my canner while we're getting ready for this. As I was getting my meat cooked and my jars hot and clean, I slowly brought the water in the canner up. Check your canner booklet so you know how much water you're supposed to put in yours. Mine is a Presto 16 quart canner, so mine calls for 3 quarts of water or so many inches, but basically it comes with 3 quarts of water. So check your manual, make sure you are following the instructions carefully because it's important. And then yeah, so we are about 6 seconds away from putting the weight on, and you don't start your timer just yet. We'll talk about that in a minute. There it is. So we're going to turn off the timer. We're going to drop our weight. It's recording. That's my husband Anthony checking to make sure we're recording because I also have the pork in here I told you about. And I recorded that earlier and I was videoing myself. And I thought I hit record, but I didn't. So that whole process of me hot packing into the jars, we don't have it. But anyway, that's beside the point. I've already cried those tears, right? Anyway, so you don't start your timer now. It's important that you don't start your timer until this gauge that's on your canner makes it to the pressure that you're trying to reach. So for me, it's 11 pounds. And I have the burner turned up really high. I've canned enough now to where I know about where my sweet spot is to hold it steady because it's really important. Once you reach your pound pressure weight, which mine is 11 pounds, I will start a timer for 75 minutes since we're doing pints. And I will hold that at 11 pounds. It'll go over maybe a little bit, but not very much. But you don't want it to drop below the 11 pounds or whatever yours is because basically your meat won't be safe. You have to hold it there. Check the center, the National Center for Food Safety, Home Preservation. And I say it wrong every time, but I'm going to link below for it. So that way you can click on it and check it out. You can also check with the ball canning websites, your booklet. Ball canning books, which I'll show you. If I hadn't already, I'll show you before we close out the books that I use for canning, but just about there. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my burner to where I know it's going to hold it at 11 and not drop. And I'm going to start my timer for 75 minutes. Alright, so here's the look. We all took turns, family time tonight. We're making pizzas out of Leanne's pizza crust, and I'll link the video with her doing that below. But this is a barbecue chicken pizza, and I actually use the chicken on this is actually canned chicken. I opened one can and split it between this barbecue chicken and this chicken Alfredo, and then Nate wanted just cheesy pepperoni, so that one got a little bit dark, but I think it's fine. Anyway, they look amazing. That's the chicken Alfredo with red onions, and here is the barbecue chicken. Getting dark, guys, and the lighting's bad, but you can see how amazing they look. Alright, so I'll link that recipe below. Give her a shout out when you go over to watch it. Let her know I sent you. Alright, we are going to chow down. And remember, this was made out of the canned chicken I just showed you how to make. Here's a look at our backyard. Those are my herb beds that I need to clear out. That's our fire pit. This is my son's cozy coop that he can, been years and years and years since he fit into, but he loves to push the dogs around in it. Anyway, I don't know if you guys can see it. Can you see the snow coming down? That's our elderberry bush and our fig tree. Hopefully the snow doesn't kill it like it did last year, but thankfully the fig tree ended up, there's some icicles. This is our garden space that we'll have to work on soon to our storm shelter and our chicken coop and run back there. But Miles, you finally going outside? Yeah, he don't want it outside, but anyway, there is our snow still coming down. Yeah. Alright, just giving you a double look at it while we're canning the chicken, and I'll check back later and show you when the chicken comes out of the canner. Okay guys, so it has been a good while now. You've seen our snow outside, the ice, you've seen the pizza that we had for dinner, and the canner has completely finished. It cooled down enough to where the pressure dropped and I was able to move it. After you let it cool completely, all the pressure go out, you can remove your weight, and then I let it, you have to wait at least another 10 minutes, but I usually wait another 30 or 40. But I'm going to pull this out. You can see my jars that are in the canner. There's the chicken, and this is the pork we talked about earlier. But we're just going to show you the chicken here. I'll show you the pork in the other video, but here's what they look like. How awesome is that, right? Hot packed chicken. Alright, so I'm going to grab those out. And these are going to go over here. And they are going to sit untouched. Like basically, you probably shouldn't even really look at them real hard. Just kidding. But you want to have those sitting somewhere where no one's going to touch them, where they're not going to get jostled around. Oh, I want to show you something really quick, because they are extremely hot. Can you guys see? Can you see it still bubbling in there? It's still boiling even though the pressure was gone. Can they see it really? You may not can, but
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so I'm going to put all that over here. And it's going to sit, like I said, I'm going to leave it for 24 hours. In the morning when we wake up, or around lunchtime, I will take the rings off. And so no earlier than 12 hours. I will test to see if they sealed, and I will take the rings off and then let them sit some more. And then after they sit on the counter here for 24 hours, I will take them to the sink and clean them with hot soapy water. Then I'll label them and I'll put them in our food pantry. But they need to sit out, I would say, on your counter undisturbed for 24 hours before you take the rings off. Because these are loose. I mean, these weren't tight, right? But these held the seal down. You'll hear them ping, ping, which I've heard all of mine ping in the canner while I was waiting for the pressure to go down and everything. So they've all sealed, thankfully. And yeah, so I'm just going to get that out. And before I go, I was going to let you know that you can find all the cool ball canning books on Amazon. Sometimes you can find them at like a farmer store, like Atwood's or Leonard's. Excuse me. In your area, but I'll link to some of my favorites down below in the description. And I'll also link to the Home Preservation for Food Safety and Things, that website that I've called probably a million different things on this video because I never get it right. But it's like the Center for Home Food Preservation, but it's going to give you all the FDA and USDA safe canning guidelines, so I'll put that link below. And I hope you enjoyed this canning chicken video. There's so many things you guys can use this chicken for. Casseroles, soups, that barbecue pizza that I showed you. You can take it camping. Just so much you can do for it. Chicken cakes, I'll link that recipe below because that's one of our favorites. And yeah, it's just super handy to have on sale if you can, on hand. If you find chicken on sale, give it a try. You know, don't be scared. Jump in and can follow those safety procedures and then reap the benefits of it. Well, until next time, I appreciate you guys spending the day here with us on this icy and snowy Thursday. So I'll see you next time.